Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Welcome back to another exciting episode to the show that has never left a bag of blow at the White House. Audience of one, right here on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5, irlonestar.com, and wherever you get your podcasts from. I am Andrew, riding alongside the man who thinks it should be illegal to wet your hot dog buns, Richard Dick Schisler.
What's up, man?
What's going on?
Nothing much. Just cruising into the middle of July. It's hot.
Yep.
Making plans.
Yeah, got back from your White House vacation, did you?
Yeah, dude. They still haven't found us.
Was that you that left that there? Can you believe it's pretty crazy, right?
Well, how did they even find out?
It's
Is it because they have to do a report every day, and it's like some journalist was like just looking at reports? And
yeah,
like,
I think it was a security detail went through, and of course I think it's funny because the story keeps changing as to where they found this bag of white powdery substance.
I'm surprised they even declare it. I wouldn't
well,
told anybody.
That's part of it. No one's going to get charged with this, man. No one's going to get charged with this. And they keep changing the story of where it was found. First it was in the library, then it was in the West Wing, and depending on where it's at, it kind of changes who the potential culprits
again,
could
it's
be.
Like a can of worms. Like, why even say anything? Like, oh.
It is kind of strange, right? And it's not like this is the first time Cook's ever been at the White House,
and
right?
That, it's like it's not. Because what it reminds me of is like one of those stories where it's like the Jeffrey Epstein suicide story where like, aren't there cameras there?
Yeah. Well, depending, some areas don't have cameras.
Well, I know,
secure,
but I mean, like,
right? So
this is the White House, though. I imagine it has a lot of tech in it, and it's
you would assume it's one of the most secure areas in the United States or the world, supposedly, right? It's just funny when I was actually out of town. I was on like a guy's trip over the holiday, and
maybe it was the guy who worked at Sonic.
That I was going to make that correlation. Maybe
fell
the same
out of his
guy.
pocket. Like, oh, man.
So careless. There is one person that knows the guy who left it, right? I mean,
or
girl, sure. I mean, can you imagine? That story breaks and you're looking through your pockets. You're like,
oh boy,
oh my God, I left my bag of Coke in the West Wing. The sinking feeling you must have.
Well, I don't think it was a bag. I think it was just residue. And when someone sees white residue now, it's like, oh, it's anthrax. Oh no.
Yeah, I think that's part of it too, right? They got to check for any unknown substance.
Yeah.
And like if it were a cop show, they always got to put their finger in it.
Clearly it was enough for someone to see it, and it's like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah. Pretty crazy though. But again, I don't think anything's going to come out of it, but anyways.
But yeah, you have a good weekend and all that kind of stuff?
I did. Traveled to Reno, Nevada for a bowling trip. That was a lot of fun.
That's right.
A lot
of people are doing that.
Oh yeah. It was over the 4th of July holiday, which I don't recommend traveling during the 4th of July holiday. It just makes
it's funny, opposite
worse.
of that, my buddy is house sitting in Brooklyn, and he had the same story where it was like on July 4th or the 3rd, it was madhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, but on July 4th, when he was going to two different places, it was like, it was easy, no one was there.
Yeah, it was kind of the same way with me. By the time the 4th rolled around, everything had kind of calmed down. All the celebrations were over the weekend. Which brings me, I have a proclamation to make. I think all holidays should be on a Friday or Saturday.
That's just too convenient. That wouldn't make any sense.
Right. So like if it's already a holiday that the government recognizes, like 4th of July, and gives you a day off, make that on a Friday. If it's like Halloween...
No, because they need to make that on a Saturday. 4th of July has to be on the 4th of July.
No, it doesn't.
It's in the name.
No, it doesn't.
That's unfortunate.
We can call it Independence Day.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it really did screw up the week.
It does.
For sure.
Because people were popping fireworks on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it's like, okay, we got it. We got it, guys. Yeah, exactly. And it really screwed everything up. And then for holidays like Halloween, you could have on a Saturday, because the worst thing when you were a kid was to come home from school and change into your freaking costume and then go out and trick-or-treat and then have to go to bed early for school the next day. It's the worst. Make it on a Saturday. Come on. All these dates are made up anyways. for the majority of them, right? I know 4th of July might be different, but that's my proclamation. All holidays, Fridays and Saturdays.
Matter.
Of course it matters.
I mean, they do it for certain holidays where it's just like, oh, we'll just do Monday off.
Yeah, but that's the observed time. But again, that was the same way with 4th of July this week. Most businesses were closed on Tuesday, but people were celebrating all weekend. It's like, why don't we just do it on the weekend? And then you don't have to wonder, what day am I getting off the week? It's Friday. It's Friday. Don't worry about it. Or Monday.
Even Montgomery County had several celebrations all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know Conroe had their downtown fireworks on Saturday.
Right. But by the time Tuesday rolls around, everybody's
just a day off.
Fireworked out, man.
Just a day off.
But if they had followed Andrew's holiday proclamation, it would have been perfect on a Friday or Saturday.
I was at the bowling alley.
Sorry about that.
It was fun.
Yeah, so the Nathan's hot dog eating contest was, again, over the 4th of July. I know we talked a little bit about that last week. You and I think, shared the same opinion on this thing, right? It's just disgusting.
Well, I think it's gross, but I think it's great.
Okay. It has been going on since like 1912 or something.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's one of those things that it's a special kind of person who participates in those events.
I suppose, yeah.
I've participated in eating contests, but not quantity. So,
okay.
Well, it's like hot. Like, can you eat
that kind,
the hottest kind of stuff or whatever? I've done that.
Really?
But just the image. I mean, how many hot dogs did that guy eat? Like 60 something?
62 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joey Chestnut. I'm so tired of Joey Chestnut.
I like it. All his interviews are hilarious.
Yeah.
I think I saw one. He was talking to Pat McAfee, who's a radio personality, YouTube guy. And he was literally interviewing him, and he goes, "Where are you?" He's like, "Oh, I just came out of this restaurant. I had to use their restroom." And he's like, "I didn't buy anything, so I felt really bad." We just walk in the streets.
Yeah, I imagine when you're a competitive eater, that scenario probably does arrive.
Oh yeah, well, it depends on the food. Like the hot dog one. That's even because he was talking about. I think he participates like in ribs.
Oh, he does all kinds of
and
stuff,
like chicken wings, and then there's a couple other ones, but
yeah, I'm tired of him because he's won like 16 out of the last 17. At this point, it's like, really, we all know that you're just better at this than everybody else. Can you kind of
And that's
step
why I
to the
argued
side?
about wetting the bun. Like they should have two competitions, one with the wetting the bun and one without. Because I wonder
dry buns and wet buns contest.
Well, it's like what's the difference?
Well, the number would just come down, but it'd be
Yeah.
like an even playing field, I guess. Right? If everybody's doing it, everybody can. It'd be like steroids in the Olympics or sports. But they take themselves way too seriously.
I like it though. I mean, if you're good at it.
I guess. So I was in the lobby of the hotel I was staying at over the 4th, and I saw this 30 for 30 was on with Joey Chestnut.
Yeah, I mean.
And they show footage of him training.
Yeah.
And he's got like these weights that are hanging from his neck or his jaw, and he's working out his neck and everything. Do you think they're athletes? Because that's the point of contention is these guys are athletes. Do you think they're athletes?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, they train. They showed him training.
Sure. I mean, I think when you open the door for are chess masters athletes, it's like maybe they're good at it. But then again, it's like I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't watch it.
I would consider them athlete because they're talented, but then that kind of crosses over to like artists. Well, they're talented. Are they considered?
Yeah. And if you see,
and he's training for it too.
He is. And I've seen some of them, they'll like pick up their shirt and they got like 6-pack abs.
I don't doubt it.
Like, what? There's very few, token big fat dudes in there that are doing this. They're actually usually fairly skinny guys.
Yeah.
And the women's competition, same thing. It's this little petite girl that usually wins it every year. But again, I'm tired of seeing him. I think the best storyline is a 15-year-old one when, Kobayashi, who really brought that, I guess, into modern fame, that Nathan's hot dog eating contest. He was banned. I don't know if you remember or even remember the story. So back in 2006, I think it was 4, 5, 6. He was winning all the competitions. He was the big dog, and he got into some sort of spat with Major League Eating. Yes, that's a thing. Basically, they wanted to control everything that the competitive eaters were doing, that they could only go and compete in sanctioned MLE events, and
typical.
They wanted 20% of their earnings, all this stuff. And, Kobayashi was like, no, I want to be able to go out and make a living doing other things. So he just said, I'm done with you. I'm not going to compete in, Major League Eating competitions. Well, at that time, he had won like 5 or 6 straight. And he was, the big guy wetting the buns and everybody. He was on ESPN at that time. Well, he showed up in 2007 just thinking, I'm a 4 or 5-time reigning champ. They'll let me in on here. And he went up on stage and they arrested him right there on TV during the competition. I do remember that. And I'm like, well, that's the coolest story, I think, to come out of this thing in 15 years.
I wouldn't be really happy getting arrested for, doing that kind of stuff.
Well, and this year's event was almost rained out. And I heard, again, I don't watch it because I find it really disgusting. I heard that Joey Chestnut basically got up there and gave this real impassioned speech about we've got to do this and blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking, well, yeah, you need an extra $10K in your pocket because you're going to win. Tired of that guy.
But yeah.
Tired of it.
4th of July.
Yeah.
Cool.
So last week you teased that you were going to the DMV.
Yeah.
How was that? Tell me about your DMV
It's
experience.
totally different. It was the easiest thing I've ever been part of, and I was shocked.
Yeah? What were you shocked at?
Well, because, so to let everyone know, I lost my wallet the first time in like 20 years, and I was like, how do I get my ID? And, of course, I had the login and all my stuff for the Texas Department of Transportation. I log in, and it says, I was like, I can just reorder it, right? Mm-hmm. Well, no, you have to have your DD number, and if you don't know what a DD number is, at the bottom of your ID, there's like a 26 or 18-digit code that's unique to your ID. And unfortunately for me, I literally just renewed my license for 2023, and I did not take a picture of it or scan it. I had my old license scanned, but I did not have my new license scanned, so I had to go into the DMV to get my ID.
With all the common people.
Well, I mean, I was just kind of like, gosh darn it, as long as I had that little DD number, I would have been fine.
Yep.
But unfortunately for me, I had to go, and it was the easiest thing. You make a schedule appointment. I showed up like 15, 20 minutes early, checked in. They saw me within 10 minutes. What I did like is this reminds me of a lot of the new tech going into the world, like in the old way of doing it. Because while I was there, an older gentleman who couldn't really hear well just walked in thinking he could just get his ID.
Sure. As most people would.
Yeah.
Because that's the way I did it for 60 years.
Well, yeah, it literally was right after me. And I was like, oh, this poor guy.
Oh, yeah.
Probably doesn't even have a phone.
Internet? What are you talking internet? No. I need a driver's license.
Yeah, and the lady was really nice about it, and she set up an appointment. And what I've learned is if you don't set up an appointment and you just show up, it could go either way. Like, we can see you in an hour. Right. Or we'll make an appointment, see you next Tuesday.
Sure. See you next Tuesday.
Well, that was the unfortunate thing. When I made my appointment, the nearest appointment was like in 7 days.
Oh, man, yeah.
So I was like, oh, man, I'm going to be without an ID for 7 days.
And you had the odd thing of you had to get your vehicle registered. Right, as well, which you can't do without a license, apparently, which I don't know if you need your license or not.
What happened was, and I've learned this, is like I was trying to do it online, and I was late by like 2 days.
Right.
So I had to go. I had to physically go in, and when you physically go in, which I don't understand why you can't. I don't know if you can do it even when it's not expired.
I had that happen once. Because if you miss the date, you have to go to the courthouse or the DMV.
You have to go to the tax office.
But
they print out everything for you right then and there. You don't have to wait. And they have a schedule, so it's really easy to do it. But yeah, you have to have your ID for it. And I even asked the DMV person, I was like, is this good to go anywhere? Like, could I go to the tax office and use this paper ID? And she's like, yeah, it should. And I'm like, it should? Like, am I going to be wasting my time? But yeah, I think everyone, it was so much more, it's so easy.
Yeah.
Compared to.
And so you had to get your car inspected first before, and they didn't mind the hot pockets in the trunk. That all went through. No. You're good?
Yeah, no, it's I had to like physically walk over there when I have time, but.
Well, were you aware that Governor Abbott last month signed into law no more vehicle inspections?
At all.
At all.
So what do you do?
And I'm like, well, you just pay a $7.50 thing, and then it goes into the registry, and you go and get your car registered. But no more vehicle inspections. And I thought, I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you, but I thought, well, that's kind of a pain in the butt to go do it, so this is good. So I started reading on.
You still have to do something. You still have to pay that $100.
No, you still pay your registration, but you don't have to get the vehicle inspected beforehand. You just pay a fee. Which is the same price. I think it's $7.50. You pay it. It goes to the state, and they say, "Yep, your vehicle's good to go."
No, because your registration fee is like $80.
That's registration. I'm talking about inspection. This is like a bypass the inspection by paying $7.50 fee.
Okay, so you're still paying
you're
probably
just paying,
roughly $100.
but you don't actually have to go and get it inspected. And I thought, well, this is great, but it doesn't apply to everybody. You got to be kidding me. It's everyone in Texas except for the following 17 counties.
Montgomery
Brazoria,
County.
Collin, Dallas, Denton, Ellis, El Paso, Fort Bend, Galveston, Harris, Johnson, Kaufman, Parker, Rockwall, Tarrant, Travis, Hamilton, and Montgomery. Oh, come on, Montgomery. Snap to it. So we still got to go here. We're registered in Montgomery County, so we still have to go and get our cars inspected. But when I saw that, I thought, oh, man, you just missed this. Well, no.
Well, I remember a while back there was I was trying to get my car inspected in Abilene, and the guy was like, oh, you're registered in Harris. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, so you got to go to Harris County.
You got to go to Harris. Yeah, he's like, apparently Harris County has a different type of inspection than they do in Abilene. So, and it's more expensive. I know that.
Weird.
But, yeah, the DMV, very easy, make an appointment. It was, I mean, especially out here in Conroe, no one was really here. So I walked in, and there was only like two people in line. I was like, perfect. It's a Friday.
Yeah, I guess on a holiday, everybody's gone at that point. The last thing they want to be doing is sitting at a DMV somewhere.
But yeah, DMV, way to go. I'm glad they're updating their tech, but I feel bad for the people left behind.
Right.
And it really does. Like, there's certain things in this world, and you have a story coming up, which we can kind of talk a little bit about. It's how, like, no one's taking cash anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me of that kind of hard break transition in society. You're like, wait a second. Like, no cash, no change, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
By the way, I have no idea what story you're talking about, but okay. I'm sure we'll cover it at some point.
Well, we were talking about, you sent me a story about the people who found out 1,000,000 pennies.
Oh, yeah, that is, okay, yes.
And
yes,
so it's like they have nowhere, like, can you go to Coinstar?
Coming up after the break.
Yeah. Well, no, it got me thinking about it.
I had no idea what story you were referring to.
Oh, no, I read what you sent me.
No, I understand. I didn't put two and two together.
But no, it's just one of those things. Like, I would love if a listener has a story about when, society just changed all of a sudden. You're like, wait a second, what?
Yep.
Because I was a little nervous because I haven't been to DMV in, I don't know, 6 years, and I was just
send us your Me Too story
at
audience@gmail.com.
I filled out the form before I went in, and the lady really appreciated that, and then everything was good to go.
That's awesome.
The only thing I didn't like is that they had to do my fingerprints, and I was like, I thought I already did this. What's going on?
Yeah, right, for the incident.
Well, I was just a little weirded out by it, and I had to take a picture again. I didn't know that was going to happen.
Oh, you got an updated one.
So
it was weird forever and ever. I had a picture on my debit card of me when I was 19 years old, all the way into my 30s, and I'm wearing like a puka shell necklace from the 90s, and then it's
so
always
cool.
funny. Oh,
you're
Dick,
so
I was
cool.
The coolest. Actually, it wasn't a puka shell; it was a little choker. But, anyways, I love it when Texas cities make news. Kyle was trying to make news a few weeks ago with the largest gathering of people named Kyle. Well, this apparently looks like a north central Texas city of Northwich Hills has made news, and they made news over the 4th of July because they had the largest display of drones in I guess it's not really a fireworks display, but in a gathering. And so I clicked on this link, and it has a video, and I want you to show the listeners, I don't even know if that makes sense, this video of the drones.
All right, let me see if I can pull it up.
And it's really, really fascinating because these drones are all coordinated.
Oh, it's right here.
Yes, I'm looking at it on your computer right there. They're all coordinated into basically what amounts to a fireworks show without explosions and fire and smoke. And it's really, really good. And I think considering all of the fire problems that we've had through 4th of July celebrations, this is probably a much safer way to... Oh, well, they're combining them there. But it's really, really neat. And apparently this has been done, but this was the largest gathering of drones. Each one of those are drones that have hundreds of LED lights on them, and they're forming all kinds of 4th of July celebratory images in the sky, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah, I would like to see that. I've never seen anything like that. Have you?
No. That means I have to go outside.
That's true. It said they used 1,000 Sky Elements. Fort Worth-based Sky Elements used 1,002 drones with LEDs to light up the sky. Pretty cool, man. I got to admit, I had never seen anything like that before.
Have we really been recording for 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Dang.
Man. Why?
Time loss.
All right, well.
Abducted.
You ready for some heavy talk then?
Yeah.
All right, onesie, strap in. Grr, heavy talk, let's go.
I like it. All right. I'm waiting for it. Drop the hammer. Let's go.
I don't know how heavy this is going to be now. I really pumped it up, and now it's just going to be regular talk. Are you a... No, let's go to this one first. This one's a little heavier. Have you ever suffered through the annoying beep from like a smoke detector when the battery goes out?
Yeah, but I replace them.
You don't ride it out for like a couple of days or a week?
No.
Man, I have to admit, as annoying as it is, I have been known to ride that thing out a few days before.
Well, it requires a 9-volt battery, and a lot of people do not carry extra 9-volt batteries.
Yeah, as a kid, did you ever lick a 9-volt battery?
No.
No, I bet you did. Come on, be truthful. You licked a 9-volt battery before, didn't you, Dick? Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. You don't always have one.
I don't go around licking things. Is that what you did in elementary school?
I licked one right. I licked one right before the show, man.
We do need to get some smelling salts.
Let's get amped up. No, I have. I have to admit that I've ridden out that beeping before, and probably because I didn't have the battery, but also because a lot of times you got to get up on a ladder or whatever and check it, and it's so annoying. And I don't know if you've ever seen videos online, like people are recording something and you'll hear in the background, beep, beep. Like, if you're going to record a video and post it,
I think it's great. I think it's great.
Oh, man. Well, this is a story that's similar. There was an annoyed janitor, apparently, who was hearing the sounds of a refrigerator or freezer that had a malfunction.
Okay, at the workplace.
Yes, at the workplace. I suppose it was at a workplace. This is a laboratory, actually, and there was a refrigerator there that was malfunctioning, and so it had an alarm going off on it. And he was annoyed by this, so he attempted to flip a switch to kill the noise, but it shut the entire freezer off. So he was successful in killing that noise.
Yeah.
Problem was, this was at a laboratory where there was over $1 million worth of specimens that were being preserved. All because that stupid alarm was going off.
My bad.
Yeah. Whoops. It says the super cold freezer that the custodial worker allegedly shut down held cell cultures, samples, and other elements stored at minus 112 degrees Fahrenheit. Whoops. I hate to miss that one. Apparently they had put a sign on there that said, do not turn off or something like that. There's important stuff in here, and he just went right around that. Well, I'm going to fix this. So do you think the guy's at fault? Or is this
100%.
Well, I mean, to me, this seems like a normal thing to do. Right? Like, if I hear a noise and I'm a janitor, I'm like, I can't stand this noise. I got to go turn this thing off.
Put headphones on, dude.
But sometimes those things are loud enough you can hear them through
headphones. I feel
like
when you are working, like it's like someone coming in the studio and turning off the computer. It's like, oh, this is beeping. I don't like it. It's like, that's not your place to touch our equipment.
So apparently,
he should be fired.
So this happened
and sued.
Nah, I think
arrested.
No, I think this guy did everybody a favor.
Force-fed 70 hot dogs.
I think this guy did everybody a favor. Apparently, this happened during COVID, and I guess at that time, repairs were obviously taking a lot longer. So they just put a sign up there that said, here's how to suppress the alarm, but don't unplug it or whatever. Whoops. Apparently, the repair was going to take up to 2 years or a year and a half to get the parts or whatever at that time to repair. So they just let it ride. Just let that beep and go. How freaking annoying.
Yeah, it reminds me when we first started the radio station, there was, for emergency broadcast purposes, they give you these EAS units, and they receive the message from the national weather, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And when the guy installed it, he forgot to target it, meaning like we only need messages in this area. So for like 2 years, we were getting emergency signals from all across like the East Coast. And it'd just be beep, beep. This is a message. This is a message. No, it wasn't over the airways. It was just in the server room.
Oh, okay.
And it was just so loud. And I was just like, like you could hear it when you're on the air. And I got to the point where I reached out to the guy. I was like, hey, we're getting messages for like North Carolina.
See, you were doing essentially what the janitor was doing.
And I was like,
turning off the noise.
No, I didn't want to turn it off because I knew that's like if you turn that off, you get in trouble from the FCC. I was like, why are we getting messages? It's not going over the air, but we're getting messages like, oh, I forgot to turn that off.
Whoops.
And I go, well, can you come to? He's in Oklahoma. He's like, no, I'm not flying down there to turn that off. I'm like, well, can you show me or tell me or no, you're not authorized to do that. I'm like, so I'm literally going to have to hear 10 messages a day about how the East Coast of the United States is faring with weather.
Oh, that is annoying. But, I got to thinking about this story. This is in a laboratory full of very highly educated scientists, and they couldn't figure out how to fix the freezer or turn off the noise.
Things, that kind of job is...
Specific skill set, huh?
Like
you might be able to cure cancer, but you're not an HVAC guy.
I'm trying to fix our ice maker, and it's like the most perplexing thing. I've ordered all the new parts.
See, step one, at least... Well, I guess they couldn't order parts because it was going to take a while.
And I was just sitting there like, what is going on here? And so my last deduction is I have to clear some lines, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm qualified for that. So
clear some lines?
Yeah, water lines.
Is this related to the White House story? Oh, water lines. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that can't be that hard.
That's what I think.
Take a deep breath.
So far, it's taken me like 2 weeks to figure this all out. So if you're a refrigerator guy and an ice maker guy, contact us at audience@gmail.com.
In the meantime, you have no ice?
Yeah, that's fine. That's just a backup ice maker.
Okay, that's not too bad.
I live that lifestyle.
Yes, Dick has backup ice makers.
Yeah. That's how I roll.
Are you a tennis fan? Because Wimbledon is going on right now. No, I thought maybe for sure you would be a tennis guy.
I mean, if it's on, I'll watch it, but I'm not gonna follow it. The only thing I really followed was that one character who refuses to get the vaccine and.
Oh right, yeah.
But the funny thing, if I remember correctly, he actually traveled to these countries and you're not coming in. It's like, did you not know this was going to happen?
Yeah, he knew.
He spent all this time.
Yeah, he was trying to fight it.
Well, I know, but it's just funny. It's like I'm going to go to Australia, which is one of the most outspoken COVID reaction places in the world, and it's like you knew you weren't going to get it, right?
I think he actually faced some charges too for
some
entry into the country.
He arrived, and then I think he did it in France. He did it somewhere else. Is this guy not getting the emails or something? This guy's number one in the world, and he's not getting the emails.
Yeah, I think he knew what he was doing. Well, Wimbledon is going on right now, and it's probably the most hoity-toity, if you will, of all the tennis events, right? In terms of,
I guess it's old.
Yeah, it's old, and all the traditions, and they have to wear white, and it's played on grass. And
I like it.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And when I was younger, I used to play tennis, but I also used to watch it. Back when the Americans actually had some people that were pretty good, Pete Sampras, Andre Agassi,
the Williams sisters, they were pretty dominant,
right back then too. Sure, but I guess one of them played up until just a few years ago.
No, I think I saw one play the other day.
They might still be playing doubles.
I don't know.
Again,
I don't follow it.
Yeah, well, okay, and that's fine. But this story did catch my eye because Wimbledon officials are cracking down on couples who are using apparently. Well, let me step back. Wimbledon has recently provided a quiet room for fans. This is not for actual players. This is for fans. And I guess it can be used for meditation, for prayer. Again,
it's weird.
Yeah, it is very weird. But they're cracking down because people have been going into that room and getting it on.
Yeah.
And handling up on their business
I feel like that's
with
one
their
of your
partners.
Places.
Yeah, right. This is it kind of dovetails on the conversation I had about changing rooms. And, is that considered private? And if it is, what's off limits? Well, apparently these people are going into the prayer room in Wimbledon.
So gross.
They really are gross.
Well, what's interesting to me about that is, especially Wimbledon, it's like a once in a lifetime to go there, and then it's like, hey, let's go knock one out.
Right? It is kind of odd. Right in the middle of a tennis match. Hey, honey.
Okay.
Guess what?
Hey.
So Sally Bolton, the chief executive of the All England Lawn Tennis Club, has said this is a really important space, so we will be retaining it. And we'll be making sure that people are using it the right way. But I'm wondering how, this news of inappropriate behavior even got out. Because, if you're going in there and you're doing it in private.
No, it's the day of social media, man. Someone probably went in there and was like, oh, gross, it's all sticky. And then they took pictures and they went on Instagram or whatever. And it's like, can you believe they're allowing this?
Yeah, it said that the couples were leaving with big grins on their faces when they walked out of the room. So it was like, look what we just did.
All right.
Oh, man. You remember a few weeks ago we had a story where this guy had been getting pay for a job he hadn't done in, I don't know, X number of years because he was disabled.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and this is another story that's similar to this. And I understand that in England or Europe, they have much looser labor laws than we have here in the United States, but I think this one's kind of pushing it. At least in the story we had previous, the guy was, disabled and had some sort of incident that we weren't sure of at work that caused him to get paid.
If I remember correctly, he was complaining because he never got a pay raise.
Correct.
Even though the IBM goes, hey, man, we'll pay you for the next 20 years, but your pay's staying.
No, it's until retirement.
Yeah.
So it could have been 20 years. Well, this is kind of along the same lines, except this is a teacher who was, she was fired, which fired is going to be a real loose term, because she had skipped work for 20 years. She was absent for 20 of her first 24 years. Okay, man, look, at that point, I don't even blame her. I blame the system. She's just milking it. And I'm thinking, how the heck could a teacher have been gone for 20 of her first 24 years? But apparently she was maxing out vacations, sick pay, leaves of absence, all kinds of things, until it ran out, and then she would spend a little bit of time in the classroom. And apparently while she was in the classroom, students complained about her, about how absolutely terrible she was, uninvolved, on her phone, not interested. I'm like, well, yeah, she's just putting in some time so she can get some more leave. But she was gone for 20 years, man.
I don't know.
How does this happen?
That seems unbelievable to me. So I think your story's fake.
No, this ain't fake, man. This is from Business Insider. You ever read Business Insider?
No.
Oh, man, they have some weird stuff. That's where I got this from. All right. Well, last story before the break. Have you ever been to like a themed restaurant before, like a medieval times or something?
Yeah, I've been to medieval times.
Yeah, I've never been. How is it?
It's pretty incredible.
Okay.
For how like different it is compared to other restaurants. Because what I enjoy about it is like everyone's sitting at a table facing the ring, and everyone's kind of eating the same food.
Yeah. And
it really does bring you back where you think like you're at the Great Hall, and you're just sitting there. Everyone's
Is there no silverware? You got to eat with your hands.
No silverware.
Oh, boo.
But yeah, it's
pretty cool.
It's neat. It's
pretty expensive though, from what I hear, because you're paying for.
Well, I mean,
everything.
I think it was like $100 and something a person.
Yeah, that's expensive, Nick.
But you're also paying for the show and the food, and you get like a 5-course meal.
Right. Does it smell like manure in there? Sorry, manure.
Yeah,
in there?
I mean, you're in a ring, man. It depends on how close you are to the actual.
Doesn't sound too appetizing.
No, it's fun. I liked it. I was like,
cool.
This is kind of different.
I would like to go actually. The only themed restaurant I think that I've ever been to, is like Rainforest Cafe.
Oh yeah, with the waterfalls and stuff.
Well, yeah, and a lot of like animatronic gorillas and monkeys and stuff. And if you think about it, it's kind of stupid.
Oh yeah,
because you're sitting there just trying to eat slam back your hamburger and your molten lava cake, and there's these gorillas jumping around.
No, it's funny. So I was reading recently the guys who do South Park. They bought
Matt Parker, Trey Stone.
They bought this themed restaurant in Denver. I think it was Denver. It's called like Casa Bonita. And that's
house beautiful, by the way.
And it's so
bilingual
place where they have like cliff divers and treasure rooms and all this kind of. And it's a Mexican restaurant.
Eat while you're diving off the cliff?
I don't really know, but they poured like millions of dollars to.
Oh no!
Because they basically said it was a childhood favorite of theirs. And when they heard that the COVID knocked it out or whatever,
we must save it.
And they put in like, I think they even made fun of themselves because like, yeah, we put in like $10 million.
Yeah, that sounds like something they would do.
But you should check it out. Because at first I thought it was supposed to be like a Six Flags, but no, it's just a restaurant that has cliff divers and just performers. I think they said like they employed like 60+ people that aren't servers or chefs that are like entertainers.
Wow. Sounds like a business model that's failed to doom. Well, I think this one may actually top that. I think you want to show this picture, please. This is a bizarre restaurant in Thailand that has people sitting inside of a koi pond. This is the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. So if you're not watching and you're just listening, there is a restaurant that has, it appears to be maybe a foot and a half of water on the ground.
So they go in your feet and stuff.
And the actual fish are swimming around, and the tables are inside of this pond, and you eat while the fish, I guess, presumably nibble upon your feet. I guess you come out with great skin on your feet, but how
crazy
disgusting is that? Would you do that? Would you go to a restaurant like that?
No.
I don't think I could either, man.
But I would definitely do it to you. Where it's like,
get a gift card to their happy birthday.
Something like that, where you're just kind of like, oh, yeah, guys, I want to treat us all to dinner. Like, where are we going? We're going to the koi pond place. And it's like, what is that?
Oh, I guess you, in theory, could just reach down and grab dinner, too. That's nasty,
I've been to a place like that.
Can you imagine the stink? Wait, You've been to a place like what?
Where like you grab your meal.
Oh, you grab it out front and then that's like Red Lobster, dude. That doesn't count where you put the grab the crab at the entrance.
I've done it.
Oh man. All right, Dick, let's take a break. When we come back, there will be penny stories, multiple penny stories.
I like it.
Yeah, of course.
You're listening to Audience of One. We're taking our break. We'll be right back. Hey, listener. We really appreciate you checking out today's episode. Just want to remind you guys, we are on all sorts of cool things you can subscribe to. We got YouTube. We got podcasts on Spotify and Apple. We also have our Facebook, all that kind of stuff. Audience of One Show with Andrew and Dick. We'd really like you guys to like, subscribe, all that cool stuff. That way we can keep on making content and seeing if people are actually listening. Because a lot of times we are talking to ourselves with an audience of one.
Yeah, is that internet? Is that stuff you were referring to? Is that on the internet?
It's the www. dot.
I've heard of that before.
Yeah, it's a cool place. We want you guys to like, subscribe, and send us messages. We always love reading messages on Facebook. We got our Gmail. It's audienceofoneshow at gmail.com. And then I think that's the only way I really pay attention. So don't find me on LinkedIn or something. I don't.
You're not on LinkedIn.
Yeah, so we're not on LinkedIn. We are not on LinkedIn, guys.
No.
All right, welcome back to Audience of One. Onesies. Hanging out in the studio, recording the show. We're here every Wednesday at 10 a.m. right after my morning show, Mornings with Lone Star. So make sure to subscribe to our podcast if you haven't already. We're on Facebook and YouTube, Lone Star Community Radio. We do accept donations. The station is a nonprofit. We're looking for sponsors for Audience of One. So if you want to get your business out there, it's a great opportunity to get a tax write-off, but also support community radio and television. I have to say that every time.
No, of course.
People need to know that I need to get paid, dude.
Well, dude, not only that, we are also on podcast. So
I said that.
Did you?
Yeah, so subscribe to our podcast.
Oh, man. Well, Apple, Stitcher, iHeart,
all that stuff.
Spotify, all that stuff, yeah.
That was a
bad, dude.
Cool first segment.
Not really listening to. My apologies.
We I want to throw a curveball to you, and I want to get the onesies, and now comments about this. So, I told the onesies a couple of weeks ago or like a month ago I'm getting a divorce, right?
Yes, you did bring that to air.
It's a very interesting process. But one thing I wanted to get your input on is, it's funny to me with social media. It's like now I'm in that time period where I'm getting reminded of all these memories, and like my phone even does it.
Hey, remember back then when you guys did this together?
Yeah, and isn't
it so wonderful?
And then I was like, I'm trying to learn how to use Instagram and all that kind of stuff for the station, and you do these reels or you do these things, and it tells you who watched it. And so like I'm getting all these photos of my ex-wife, and then I'm getting like her mom seeing all my stuff. I can see that. And I was just sitting there going like, is there like a delete button that I don't have to delete my account, but somehow it just purges everything magically that has to remind me of the ex-wife or the family? Because it was interesting because I was getting comments by like her aunts and uncles, right? And I'm like, do they know?
Do they know? Yeah, I wonder if they even know.
I was like, because I was close with them, and
that is an interesting question.
It's like, and she only talks to them once a year.
They may not even know.
Yeah, and I was like,
so awkward.
And I liked them. And it was really funny.
It's gonna be really weird when you post a picture with you another woman or something. They're gonna go, Richard, what are you doing?
And I'm sitting there going like, and then of course my ex-wife is like ghosted. It's like wants nothing to do with me. So I'm sitting there going like,
it's kind of the way it works usually.
How do I manage this? Like, do you delete? Like, I was like, do I just get a new phone?
No, that doesn't cover it either. I don't know. I think I'm not the right person to ask because I don't do a ton of social media, and I don't have Insta or any of that stuff. I'm sure there's a way to go in there. I like it,
but it's like, oh my god, like, well, it got me thinking because I was talking to a girl the other day. And
you were.
And I made a comment about she's on her phone and some guy just took her phone, and I was like, you just let anyone take your phone? He's just looking at your pictures. And she's like, oh gosh, you're right.
Did that never cross her mind?
Yeah, and I was just making a joke.
Right.
But then I realized, if she took my phone, all she would see is this other woman. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh man, I gotta delete those photos. Because I remember when I first started dating my ex-wife, she made a lot of comments about the pictures I like to do photography. And she's like, can you just delete those photos? I was like,
move them to another folder.
Well, not even that. I was like, no, I went out and we went on a trip. Good, big deal. We went to the Redwoods. Of course, I'm going to take my camera.
Of course.
And it's like, well, you have pictures with her. I'm like, she was there. Like, what do you want me to do? Like,
right.
And there weren't even like pictures of like us hanging out. It was like, I wanted her to stand by a tree so I could do this cool shot to give perspective.
Right.
So, but it got me thinking. I was like, man, this is such a dangerous game to be playing when you're trying to like talk to do the new interests.
That's why you need to do Cyberdust. What was that old app that Mark Cuban was trying to pitch years ago? Cyberdust. You take a picture and it lasts 10 seconds or something, and then it poof disappeared. No, it's supposed to actually disappear from their servers and everything, never to be seen again.
But especially like the psychological problems people would face, like especially just like if you had like a dead one, like someone died in your family, and you're getting these reminders.
Right. Oh yeah, that happens.
Because it's been kind of like
1 year ago. Look at how full of life this person was.
Yeah, and it's like, and what got me the other day was it did this highlight. Your iPhone does these highlights, and you're like, oh, that's cool, and then it's like, oh, that was the before time. And I'm like, do I really have to go through all my photos and delete all these photos?
What it sounds like, man.
So
I'm sorry that you're having to relive your past through social media reminders.
Well, no, it's funny. It's just like I'm surprised there isn't some function that like you just say delete this person from your life.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Especially with facial recognition, you could have something scan all your photos and recognize photos that match this person. You say remove. I suppose, yeah, that's an opportunity. It's a business opportunity.
I mean, there probably is. I just don't know it. And but yeah, I wanted to get Onesies' input on that because it's kind of a constant joke. Because well, like another funny one was we had a birthday party not too long ago, and a while back we got my mother like one of these frames that has like it's basically a slideshow. And you can upload it from any phone. So I have 5 brothers and sisters that are all around with the kids. So if I take a photo, I can upload it to her picture frame, and so she can see like updated photos.
That's nice.
Well, we're sitting there, eating barbecue, and all these photos of my ex-wife showed up. And my sister's like, we should probably delete those, Mom.
Yeah, you probably need to.
And she goes, I don't know how to.
Oh, yeah, no, you're going to have to do it for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was laughing. I was like, can you imagine my mother just sitting there and just seeing all these?
Well, what you should have done is really played it up. So when the pictures start popping up, you just start sniffling and then burst uncontrollably into tears. Well, remove the pictures, please.
It's so funny to me. And I told you.
What are you doing to me?
I told you the joke when I told my family.
You probably did. Tell it again.
So this is another birthday party. I have 17 nieces and nephews.
That's what happens when you're the youngest of 6.
And so we have a lot of parties, and we all live in the Houston area. And so we're hanging out, and one of them's like, I think I was going up here to record audience of 1, and they're like, "Oh, where's Holly?" And as I was leaving, I go, "Oh yeah, you probably won't be seeing her anymore. I'll see you guys later."
You're leaving it open-ended.
Yeah, it's like, did he murder her?
Yeah, right.
And yeah, it was.
Oh yeah, by the way, you'll never see her again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, that is a weird
my
way to
mom
exit.
texted me. She's like, "Why would you do that?"
Because it's more fun to do it that way.
She's like, now they're all asking questions.
Right, now you have to deal with the aftermath.
Yeah, I don't have to deal with anything. But yeah, I just wanted to start this segment just asking, because I was thinking the other day, I was like, there's got to be, some people have to go through this stuff every day. And especially like if you, like someone died or something, you're just like, what's the point of, the happiness of social media when you have to deal with this crap? So
this is the downside of technology right here.
Dude.
Constant reminders of the life you once had.
So I feel sorry for people who, like, especially we have a show host that her son died a year ago, and
to bring down the room,
and she shares all the memories, and I was like, this is bad.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
But yeah, now we can get back to the show. I'm sorry about that. Audience of 1 onesies, audience of 1 show at gmail.com to solve my problems.
Serious talk now.
That wasn't serious.
You remember last week the guy who carved his name Ivan plus Haley on the Coliseum?
Yeah.
Well, they found him, and it's so funny. His response was, "I'm sorry. I didn't know how old the building was. Please forgive me."
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how old.
I don't know how specifically how old it is either, but that's his excuse. I don't think it's going to work, though.
Well, he follows under the column of people who go in the quiet room at Wimbledon. It's like, you're probably not supposed to do that, but no, it's like I was reading this. I like Reddit, and some guy was on Reddit complaining about Montgomery County because he got arrested. He got arrested with like 2 grams of marijuana or 2 ounces or whatever it is.
And on top of it, he still has to get his vehicle inspected. Come on, Montgomery County.
And he was complaining about it. One guy just casually goes, well, it's illegal.
Right.
To be carrying any type of marijuana.
This is true. Like it or not, yeah.
It's like,
so
why are you complaining? Like,
yeah. Move somewhere else then, I guess, dude.
But again, with the writing on the wall, right on the Coliseum, like, well, did you think that was a good idea?
Right.
Like, just to write your name in?
But I like he says, I'm sorry. Like they're the Italian police are going to say, oh, okay.
You're okay.
You're free to go.
You're
you know
fine.
what? You and Haley just go right on then. Ivan.
I mean, you got that cocaine guy in the White House. Like, I didn't know you couldn't do cocaine in the White House. It's
right.
Like,
it's just, we just thought it was frowned upon.
Yeah, we thought, I thought Joe was the cool guy. He's the, what's his nickname?
There's lots of nicknames
what's
for
Joe
him.
Biden's like? No, he's like, he brings everyone together or whatever it was.
I don't know.
That's what I would have said. Like, Joe likes that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He's a sniffer.
Yeah, man. What's the big deal? Come on, man. I like how he whispers.
I can't imagine as being a politician with social media and you just get caught in the most ridiculous scenarios with no context. And you're just kind of like,
sounds like audience of one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%.
Every time I walk in here, I'm caught in some weird context with. Anyways, so yeah, we teased this earlier about this family that found pennies, and apparently they found 800,000 pennies in the basement of a deceased relative. And you might think, hey, this is cool, money, right? But apparently they're having a hard time offloading them because, one, that's a massive amount of just solidness that they have to deal with, and they don't want to move it. They don't want to take it to like Coinstar because they take 8%. They tried to take it to a bank, and the bank said, no, we don't want it. So now they're kind of stuck. And they thought about it and said, well, there are some pennies that are specifically from certain time frames that are extremely rare and can be up to like a million.
Let me show the picture of the pennies because people don't visually. You have to see this.
Yeah, and that's going to weigh down any car.
That is a lot of pennies. And I love how it's just casually in like a garage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was like in a basement, they said. But anyway, some of these pennies that could potentially be in that pile can be upwards of $1,000 all the way up to $1 million. Yeah. And so apparently the family said, well, since we can't offload it, let's just start searching through these pennies to see if we potentially have one of these rare finds.
They can't offload it. They'll just lose 8% of the total.
Right,
value.
exactly. Yeah, they just don't want to. And so they started looking for this penny. They gave up after an hour and said, nope. We're going to list this for sale for $25,000. So if you'd like 800,000 pennies.
See, that's not a bad idea.
You could sell it for $25,000. That's a loss in theory, but potentially it could be worth a lot more. All you got to do is go and pick it up.
Well, again, it's like times have changed because I ran into that issue. I had I think I had about $180 in change recently, and I remember going to the bank and they're like, oh no, we only take if it's rolled and all this kind of stuff, and I was like, okay, so if I roll it, and she's like, well, it has to be a specific roll through the bank.
Oh my God.
And I was like, so how much are those? And I was like, okay, that's somewhat expensive, but then I was trying to offload them at the bowling alley because they use a lot of change there.
Right. I bet you're not using a lot of pennies though.
Yeah, they use a lot of pennies.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it seems like it's a waste. Just round everything up to the nearest dollar, people.
And then Coinstar's like the ultimate, like that's what I was like, that's where I have to go. I'm going to lose out, but it's like that's the only way I get rid of all this change because what am I going to do with it? So it's not like I go to the arcade and just blow it all. But yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It says $25,000 is still roughly 3 times the value of the coin's face value. Sorry. So they're actually asking more than what it's worth on the hopes that, hey, somebody may buy this thinking they can find one of these rare coins. But again, then you got to haul it off. Then you got to go through each one of these pennies and look for them. Ugh, no thanks. I'm good. Speaking of money, this story really cracks me up, man. It's from USA Today, by the way. Did you ever watch the movie Ocean's 11?
Yeah.
Okay. Like them?
They're fine.
I thought they were kind of fun, kind of entertaining, right? They put together this team of people, each with specific skill sets so they can go in and rob. Was it the MGM or something? Caesars is in the most recent one. And they were entertaining. I know they were older movies that they remade like in the late 90s, early 2000s, I think.
I feel like if somebody really did that, the casino would kill them.
Well, yeah, if you get caught, I mean, my God, yeah. I mean,
they knew who
Vegas is run by the mob. They're not necessarily known for their tolerance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is a funny story because apparently Eric Gutierrez, only 23 years of age, has been charged with theft of more than $100,000 after police said he posed as the owner of the Circa Hotel and Casino in downtown Las Vegas.
I like it.
And he convinced a casino employee to give him multiple payments totaling $1.17 million, according to the arrest report. Yeah. So how did he convince them? He said he was the owner of the casino. So apparently this Ocean's 11 really were going overboard. You don't need a team. Apparently you just need to call them up and say, hey, I'm Mr. Gutierrez, and I own this place, and I need to pay the fire department, so you need to give me $300,000. Now, apparently he did this in like 3 separate transactions of $300,000, totaling $1.17 million. So when the guy came to collect, I guess it was the same guy on the phone that also came to collect, the casino employee said that was his representation, it was his lawyer. She just was handing him over cash. Oh man, so it's pretty funny though, because when they got to his house, they said they found personal items of his, including a bag of cash that said Circa on it, with $800,000 in there. So that's still not $1.17 million. So there's still some cash missing, but
yeah, I mean it's cash.
Yeah, man, cash, not pennies. Yeah, it says right here, a large bag of U.S. currency bundled together with the name Circa handwritten on there, and the bundle was totaling $849,000, along with personal items belonging to Gutierrez in his house. What an idiot. Although it worked for a day, he did get away with a couple $100,000, it looks like, because that's a little bit short. I wouldn't have the nerve to go through with it, would you?
No, why would I want to do that?
Money.
No. Never.
Have you, I don't know if you've experienced this sort of more recent phenomenon. This annoys the heck out of me. A lot of times, and I think I've told you this before, a lot of times you will go into a restaurant based on what you think the occupancy level is, because you know you can get in and out fairly easy. You look and you're like, oh, look at that. It's not very busy. I'm on a time crunch for lunch. I can get in and out. And you walk in there and they say, sure, sir, how many? And you say 2 or 3, 4, whatever. And they go, okay, that'll be about a 25-minute wait. And you're looking around, you're going, wait a minute. There's empty tables. What's the deal? And I'm seeing a lot of this, dinner, lunchtime. And all it is they've got a shortage of staff, right? They don't have enough staff to adequately support a restaurant that's full. And so they make you wait. Have you run into this recently? No, you haven't? No. This happens all the time. Wow, I won't name the restaurant, but just a restaurant here locally. Mexican food restaurant. There's, I don't know, I'm staring at 5, 6 empty tables, 45-minute wait.
Okay.
Okay, well, anyways.
Let's order it to go.
Well, I think from NPR, they may have a solution. Robots. So there is a restaurant. Makes sense. Yeah, man. There's a restaurant apparently in, is it Colorado, I think, that has said, we have a solution to this. We're just going to have robots come out and deliver the food. How weird is that? And Nick, here is your cheeseburger. Odd, man. Would you go to a restaurant that had robots serving you? Kind of weird, right?
I mean, if it worked.
Well, some of these robots cost like $25,000, which seems like a lot, but when you add up all the salaries of an employee throughout the year, this, that, and the other.
I mean, it's also cheaper. Something restaurants have to have a theme, like we talked about earlier in the first segment. Even if it's just a standard restaurant, it's like, do you really want to talk to people, or you just? Because I've gotten to the point now, because sitting down at a restaurant's fun, but then it's like, why don't we just get this to go and chill out in the back patio or something and eat? Mm-hmm. You know, that kind of talk.
Okay. I think I would do it for the novelty. At least for the first time, I'd go in there and be like, I want to see what these robots are like. Well, the restaurant is...
I would just sit there and order waters.
Like you need to pay. You have overstayed your welcome.
Like I drink my water pretty fast.
Speed it up. So this restaurant is called Everest Nepal in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. And they have, like I said, these 2 newest employees. They like them because the owner says they're always on time, they never get tired, and they don't argue. And some of that is probably true. And I think in certain situations, these robot waiters will work out just fine, especially if they're just bringing the food out. If you're at like sort of a low-end, burger joint or whatever. But like if you're at a nice restaurant, part of the experience is talking to the waiter, asking, what do you suggest? What are the specials? blah, blah, blah. You know, what's good here, what's bad here, this and that. And robots just aren't going to be able to give you that kind of...
we're slowly being conditioned to it.
We are, absolutely.
And I think it's going to be, our kids are going to be okay with it. It's going to be the norm.
Right. If they're not going to know anything different, then...
And it's also going to be one of those things, like in the rural areas of the country, we're going to have people. And then they go to the IHOPs, they have the robots.
Okay, well, this is this sort of middle ground right now, and this is what's really, really funny to me. It says, while the robots are focused on work, they still possess a touch of personality. So we're still trying to appeal to both, you know, people who aren't comfortable with robots and people who want real robots, or real people serving them food. It says, customers are permitted to touch their ears, I didn't know the robots had ears, briefly, and feel more connected to them. However, the robots promptly remind the patrons to let them do their duties, stating, "Don't touch me, let me work."
It would be surreal, but I don't know if I'd like that.
When the robots get blocked of their duties, you can hear them saying, "Let me go, let me work, I need to work." So weird, man. No, I couldn't do it. I changed my mind. Give me people. You're just like staring at... I think you're a robot today, by the way. No.
I'm just thinking about the funny interactions when like something does go wrong with the robot, and you're trying to explain to customers, like, I mean, it's a robot.
Yeah, you are absolved of all wrongdoings.
Well, because you know, I've worked in fast food, but not necessarily a restaurant, and it is amazing people's ability to go from 0 to 100 to criticize.
Oh yeah, easy nowadays. No doubt.
And especially working in a restaurant, it's like people forget that this is a service. So it's like, oh, I order my food,
and these people are getting paid $2.15 an hour.
Whatever
it
is.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Who cares what they're getting paid?
Well, it's part of it.
They're getting paid.
People aren't paid a lot. Treat them nicely for crying out loud.
I'm talking about the patrons going like, this is not. I love it. Like when they nitpick stuff, like, oh, my steak is overcooked. You ate half of it. Well, I mean, I didn't realize it until
it took me half of it to figure out that I didn't like it.
And I'm thinking, like, do people really spend their time to going into restaurants to complain? Like, that's how they want to spend their evening. It's like, because to me, if I really wanted to complain, I'd just leave. I'd be like, hey, this didn't work out. Here's my money. I'm never coming back.
No, we'd rather go to Soch and complain about it. And you're right. And they go to 0 to 100 in no time flat.
And it's like, do you really expect? Because to me, as the waiter or owner, I'd be like, they're not coming back. So don't give them anything. Because once you feed into that kind of behavior, they're going to be like, oh, we can just go up there and get free ice cream and all that stuff. All you got to do is complain.
This man complained, give him free ice cream.
Yeah.
Like, I found a glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Free ice cream.
No, I mean, people...
All right, we're going to go to the restaurant tonight and complain and get free dessert. Yay, everybody get in the car.
People do that, man.
Dad, you're so great.
Yeah. People do it.
Well, remember we had the story, I guess it was, I don't know, last week. I'm losing track of our shows, of the chat bots that were being utilized for health services like weight loss or eating disorders. That's what it was. And people were complaining like, this experience is absolutely terrible. I'm coming to this resource for help, and this chatbot is not helpful. And we started thinking about what are the things that chatbots would be good for and what they wouldn't. And I think we had this scenario of, police situation where you call 911 and the chatbot answers, explain to me what your problem is. Man's murdering. Press 1 for murder. Press 2 for rape. Press 3 for kidnapping. It's ridiculous.
Getting directions or getting, insight to certain things, I can see it working.
Right. Well, this next story I came across was robots being used for elderly care.
Oh, they don't care.
That is opening up a whole can of worms. Would you put your parents in a nursing home that is being controlled by, not controlled, but they're being attended to by robots?
I mean, does my mom have Alzheimer's?
Well, yeah. And think about how old people are going to be accepting of this robot rolling into their room to give them, I don't know, whatever their medicine is for the day. Can you get this thing out of my room?
I don't know.
Well, apparently this is happening. A program at the University of Minnesota Duluth is using automation technology to find out how well this would actually work. Oh, it's disturbing, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, certain jobs.
It's all happening, I'm telling you.
Certain things I could see being like, for example, I can see at hotels for room service robots working well.
Yeah, delivering towels and soap and stuff like that.
Yeah, like doing that kind of stuff.
Sure.
I could see it because now you don't have to that person.
But again, it seems like we're skipping some steps here. We went from bringing out your burger at Burger Barn to assisting your parents in the elderly home. There's some steps in between here. I
can see it working, like for medication delivery. But then again, it's like that can get abused really easily. It's not like the robot's going to fight off the person. Like, that's not your drug. That's not your drug.
Yeah. They gave an example of some of the assistants. And says the robot comes in and says, "Hi, I am Pepper. I hope you are having a wonderful day. Would you like to relive some of your memories from the past?" How creepy! That's one of the options. And then apparently,
my phone is literally doing that right now.
Right there, you go. Would you like to relive some memories from the past?
I don't want to relive any of this.
And this one says right here, one of the topics to choose from is wedding.
Yeah, I love it. That's great.
Remember the day that you got married? It has been 52 years.
Yeah. And he's dead.
It's terrible.
Wonderful.
No way, man. I would not do this to my parents. So, Mom, Dad, if you're listening, and I know that you are because my mom is a big fan. She thinks you're wonderful. She hasn't met you. I'm not going to put you in a home like this. This
you
is
can email
absolutely
me.
ridiculous.
You can email me at audienceofoneshow@gmail.com.
Please do not, Mom, unless you have
currently single
stories about the show. Would you quit hitting on my mom via the radio? It's so weird. No, I wouldn't do this. It's so creepy, though. But this is that technology run amok, man.
You got to work it out. I mean, like the example I gave with the hotel, I could totally see that working very well. The elderly folks, I can see if there's a need, depending on, because every home, elderly home is different. Mm-hmm. And so, like, for example, my grandmother...
They all have one thing in common. Old people. Well, and old people don't like robots, man.
No. I mean, like, for example, like the place where my grandmother lives, all the floors are designated, like, mental care, just old people, or they can't walk, or things like that. And I can see, like, the people who can't walk, if they want to get something, they need something, and it's just a trivial thing, a robot delivers it, and then maybe have some interaction saying, "Are you okay?" from a scale from 1 to 10, and if you say 10, the robot sends it to the nurse and be like, "Yo."
Yeah. Again, it's conditioning us little by little.
I can see that
little
working.
by little. But
I don't think it'll hold drugs or anything. It's not going to administrate that, because that's when you have no idea what's going to happen with that.
But what about the old crazy dementia man that tries to have romance with
that's what I'm trying to say.
With the robot? I mean,
like, think about the robot waiters who deliver peanut allergy people like the wrong meal, and it's just like, this person.
Be like Chevy Chase in Vacation when he punches the moose in the face, man. Kaboom! Get the same thing.
Oh yeah, it's just funny to me. It's like it's going to work, and it's not going to work in certain areas. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. All right, I have 2 stories to finish up the show, but I don't think we have time for them. This is some AI stuff, so I'm going to save the AI stories for next week, and we're going to finish up with a feel-good story.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. We need a little bit more feel-good stories.
Your husband's dead.
Right. Would you like to relive your wedding?
Yeah, I love it.
God. All right. So, happy story starts off from MSN. A quadruple amputee. Yes, it's going to be a happy story, is going viral with an impressive showing at the American Cornhole League. Dayton Weber, who has no hands and no legs, has been dominating the competition. We have a video in there. I don't know if you can pull it up quickly enough to show it, but it is super cool. So this is a person that has no arms, no legs, competing competitively in cornhole. Nope, scroll down. You're playing the wrong video.
Oh, this isn't him?
Well, that's him, but I don't know if that's going to have a video of him actually playing. This is him going through his life. That's his life story. Well, just scroll down. You can see one more. There it is.
All right, cool.
So here's a video of him actually competing in cornhole.
Wow.
Yeah, so there you can see him. He puts his 2 arms together. He has arms, but he has no hands. And he is flipping that bag. I don't know how many feet is that. Is that 30 feet or something?
Cornhole, I don't really know, man.
The point here is he's destroying it. And for the sake of brevity here, he is putting every single bag right into the hole.
That's cool.
It's awesome. So I highly suggest everyone going and checking out this viral clip of Dayton Weber and his inspiring story of how good of a cornhole player he is. And we'll talk more about ChatGPT and AI next week. I've got some really funny stories about that.
Well, how can a robot help you in your daily life?
You know what? I want them to put together this show so that a robot will have to deal with you rather than me.
Deal with me? No, I think I could see it helping you by cooking dinner.
Yeah, cook dinner would be good, but I actually want them to make a new chair for me for the studio. That's how a robot could help me out.
You don't like that chair?
Well, I think I got the funky one today, and we hadn't had chair talk in a while. But anyways, that's all we got for this week, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. That's what gets us all of the views when you share and like. And the robots will put us up in the algorithm so more people can enjoy our show. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, onesies. Zip back up.
Zip back.